Cool. Well, I'm
Thanks,
Peter
Eric.
Facinelli.
Thanks, guys.
So your character doesn't make an appearance in the pilot. Can you talk about maybe when he appears on the show and
Yeah,
what
he's
his...
introduced in the second episode.
Okay.
And I think I'm doing 10 out of 12 right now, so if it's a back 9, we'll see.
That's a good percentage.
But it's been fun.
Yeah.
Having a good time with it.
Cool. Can you talk about, Kara has a lot of different worlds that she exists in, her office life, her family, her superhero stuff. Where do you fall in that equation?
Maxwell Lord's a high-tech billionaire who basically is trying to save the planet through green technologies. I think he believes that humans should save themselves, and that aliens or superheroes aren't necessarily a good thing for us. For one, he looks at Supergirl like she's a magnet for trouble. If she wasn't in the city, we wouldn't have other superheroes coming here, battling her, destroying bridges, costing our city money. And so I think he has a fascination with superheroes because I think he wants to figure out a way to maybe harness that power for humanity. But he's not necessarily pro superhero in anything. Or super villain. It's not like he has an evil side, like he's trying to take over the world. He just has a very clear perspective on humanity.
He's pragmatic and
So as such, can you tease some of the tensions that'll be occurring between himself and some of the other characters?
Yeah, I think for sure he has a fascination with Supergirl, and he wants to find out more about her. Cat Grant and I have a history together, which is kind of a dangerous liaison. It's kind of tension, where it's an adversary, but it's a kind of a sexual. I think my character respects her and likes her, but also, we don't always see eye to eye on things. What else? I think. He's well.
Do you interact with James Olsen at all?
I had some scenes with James. He's kind of. There's a lot of different. Like Kara has a lot of different personalities. I think Maxwell Lord has a lot of different facets to his personality. There's, in some places he could be very Trump-esque, where he gets in front of a news crew and he's trying to push his agenda. And then there's times where he's softer, and there's times where there's stuff with it's so hard because I don't want to say things.
It's a tricky balance.
So there's different. What I find with him, there's different levels of his personality as well. That just makes him grounded. It's not like he's trying to be something he's not. There's just different parts of his personality that come out at certain times.
And for you, what's the most challenging thing about being part of the show?
Wow. Well, he talks a lot. I gotta learn a lot of lines. It's probably the most challenging. I gotta speak in chunks. But I'm having a good time on it. It's not like not like I had to go through Navy SEAL training or anything. It's just one of those jobs that just is fun, that you don't have to overthink. You just kind of have fun playing it and work with the other actors and bring it to life. It's exciting for me to be in the superhero world. I haven't really done that in my career. I've done Twilight, but it was more of a fantasy world. It wasn't superhero stuff. So this is a nice introduction into the world of comic books.
And which of the comic book characteristics of your character have you retained, and what have you added of your own personality?
Well, I think in the comics he's a little more Forbes magazine and a lot more Trump-esque, And I think my character is more Elon Musk or Steve Jobs, It's a different. Today's billionaire is a little different than yesterday's billionaire, So he's a little bit cooler, hipper, hopefully sexier.
Better hair, yeah.
But you know, the essence of the comic book character is there. But I mean, I like his flair. He always wears his colorful suits, you know. And so when I sat down with a costume designer, I was like, let's give him a handkerchief and make the colors in handkerchiefs like pop, you know. Because I want him to have that flair of the comic book character, but I don't want to wear purple suits. So I said to them, more Clooney and cover GQ and less Forbes magazine cover, you know. Like, he should be charming and charismatic. Because I always find, you know, politicians, there's two ways to go about it. Like, you can either be very tough and stern, or you could win people over with charisma, and that's actually, you know, they say the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was to make people think he didn't exist, you know. So when you have a character who's super charismatic and saving the world, then he can win over the public. That's a dangerous combination, because then that's where the power comes from, not from coming in and acting. When you have power, you don't have to come in and act powerful, you know.
There's a lot of light comedic tones in Supergirl. Do you ever get to play with those? Get to
some, you know, there's some like quippy, die-hard lines. You know what I mean? But I think it comes out of the tension. It's not meant to be super comical. It's like, you know how in Die Hard you have a lot of tension, and then there's like a line that makes you laugh.
Right.
Yippee-ki-yay.
It's more in the format. You're not telling knock-knock jokes.
No. I think there's moments of that.
So you're saying there's sort of like a dark humor to kind of diffuse some of the tension?
Some. I mean, it's an 8 o'clock show, so it's never going to be super, you know, bloody or super dark. I think it's meant to be a family show. And I think that it does have, you know, it's something that a whole family can watch. Because I think adults can watch it and kids can watch it together, and you can enjoy it together. You know, there's parts of it for both.
Yeah.
You know.
Can you talk about a little bit of the interaction between all of you guys? It's such a great cast, and Amy sings, you know, there's such great guest stars coming on. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, when you're shooting, it's just, you know, you're just there doing work. It's not, you don't really have parties every day, like, but it's always nice to work with people that are easygoing and professional. And, you know, Melissa's one of the hardest working people I've seen. I mean, especially even coming off of Glee, because I did 5 episodes of Glee. And I was like, these guys work hard. When they're not working, they're like learning songs and dance numbers. So, I mean, she came off of that, and now she's doing, you know, 17-hour days, action stuff, working all day long. I mean, she's really working long hours. So, but to have somebody that's the head of the show that is so nice and, you know, not a diva and really sweet and, you know, appreciative of the opportunity is really nice. You know, it all trickles down from there. You know what I mean? I always find that it always trickles down from the top. So whatever your lead is where the energy is coming from. And I'm very thankful that she's so amazing and sweet.
We were discussing how musically talented the cast is, and
not me, so don't worry.
Well, if Maxwell Lord had like a theme song or a karaoke song, what do you think it would be?
Man, maybe Drake's Energy. He's got a lot of enemies. Trying to drain his energy. I don't know. That's a tough one. I'm the least musically inclined probably on the show. So I hope that they don't do some musical episode. I'll have to sit that one out.
Can you dance?
I like to think I can. Freestyle.
Yeah.
I can freestyle.
You brought your kids here today. Have they come to that? They got so excited about your dance.
You know, my kids get excited when I bring them prize. They don't really care what I do. But
that's humbling.
Yeah. But I have brought them to the set, and, you know, they think it's fun. And I was in New York with them this weekend, so they were like, yeah, I'd love to come hanging out with me again.
Last question.
What's been the hardest part about transforming into your character?
You know, again, it's not one of those where I have to go through Navy SEAL training and have to like learn too much. I mean, it's a show that's meant to be fun, so the more fun I have, I think the more fun the audience will have. So it's not like, I mean, the only difficulty is my character talks a lot. So like I have to learn a lot of lines. But other than that, like it's just a matter of me showing up, having fun, and creating this character in a way that people will have fun watching it. You know? But it's a fun job. Like sometimes you go to work and it's work, and it's like a lot of stuff you have to learn because you don't know, and you're learning new skill sets that character has that you don't have. You're learning a language or an accent. Honestly, this is one of those that's the cast is so easygoing, and the scenes are always fun to do. It's kind of like I feel fortunate. You know? I mean, there are jobs like I did a job called Facinelli in 2002, and that was like playing cops and robbers every day. You know? So they're really fun. And I got to drive Ferraris and shoot rocket launchers, and I was like, this is a fun job. And I would say this was a fun job too. Like, it's long hours, and you know you still got work to do, but it's a fun world. You know?
Yeah, so it sounds meaningful and fun and exciting. Okay, great. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you.
I mean, reading the scripts are really like reading comic books. So honestly, when I get a script, it's fun to read.
Thank you.